Now, I'm Fred Kamaka, I'm his father, and the business was started by my father 100 years ago. Pictures on the walls. Sam Kamaka Sr. It's a duplicate of the painting that's in Ukulele Hall of Fame. My father is the seventh person inducted, not as a musician, but as the first Hawaiian manufacturer. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of this man, Manuel Nunes. He came to Hawaii when Hawaii was a kingdom, 1879. But he was the one that designed this ukulele in Hawaii. But he brought instruments from Europe, and he came really to work in the sugarcane field, 3-year contract. But on his spare time, there were a couple other musicians with him. Of course, there was one on Espiritu Sound, the three of them. They made musical instruments on the side, and once the 3-year contract was up, we made for them. And they are the ones that really taught us how to make instruments. Now, this ukulele was made by Nunes, turn of the century, 1900. Now, he had been making this instrument for about 20 years, but it was the most popular instrument in Hawaii because it was made here. Now, why was it so popular? The big thing was you didn't need a case. You could stick it under your arm, go to the beach, stick it out and play, go to a party. If you had an expensive violin, mandolin, guitar, you needed a case. Hawaiians weren't interested in something they didn't need. As far as they were concerned, the case was superfluous. Forget it. You don't need a case. And if you don't have a case, you don't need the violin, mandolin, or whatnot. But this instrument, being the hotbed of ukulele, making and playing from the beginning, has been Hawaii. Now, 1900 was about the same time my father and a bunch of his young friends wanted to make instruments like this. But there was loss in language because everybody that came, whether from the Far East, Middle East, or Europe, they lived ethnically, mostly in camps. We ate the same food, used the same table chairs, but it was all done differently under a different language. So we had to learn, and we developed a composite language called Pidgin English, where words between languages could be used to include with English and Hawaiian, so people could talk to one another. And that's how my father and his friends finally found out how to build instruments properly. They knew how to make drums. You know, you take a coconut tree, you cut it, dig it out, put a cover on, you got a drum. But to make a musical instrument, you had to know which woods to get the vibration, to get the sound. How thick, they didn't know that. But with the breakdown in language, they were able to, by 1910, make instruments that were possible. Now, by 1910, my father had mastered playing violin, guitar, upright bass. He played the mandolin, but there were too many strings. He weren't interested in that. But he became a professional musician by 1910. Had a chance to go to New York to play music, hired by somebody in New York. So he went because he could earn a lot of money in New York and, and come home and be a big shot with money. He came home. So he went, but he got stranded there because the guy had no money to pay him. Here they were, 7,000 miles the other side of the world, no money. How are you going to get home? You can't go down the ocean, jump in a canoe and paddle home. There's no canoes. So the only way to get home, go across Hudson to New Jersey where the vegetable gardens were. Earn money to buy a train ticket across the country. Well, my father wasn't coming home because he'd be embarrassed because he didn't come back with a lot of money. So instead of going home, he went the other way. He went to Europe for 5 years. He learned, he went to Europe and saw how the Italians, Spanish, French, British, Germans, Russians made instruments. And everybody did it very differently. And he studied this. For 5 years it was great. He also went to the coast of Africa, coast South America, to see how the natives there applied what the Europeans did. All we learned was what the Portuguese came to teach us here. So we were restricted. So by the time he got home, he had this big knowledge of how to build instruments. So he opened his guitar ukulele shop. The only mistake he made was opening the guitar side, because the Hawaiians were not interested in guitars. So he had to make ukulele. And 10 years down the road, he came up with this shape. Showed his friends like you. Somebody said, "Sam, it looks like a pineapple." Shoot basically for this sound. If you play, how many play the ukulele? If you play the ukulele, you recognize the sound. The dog with fleas, my dog has fleas. Yeah, right from this ukulele. Okay. Now, my father's friends, Portuguese, all making ukuleles this way. So my father, because of his study of instrument making in Israel, said, if you want to get the sound I get from my pineapple, you have to make that ukulele bigger in the base, make it thick in the body like my pineapple. And the theory of instrument making is that it doesn't make any difference what the shape is. It's the interior volume which will dictate what the sound is from the different models, whether it's a soprano, alto, tenor, or baritone. So, the pineapple sound today is here. Figure 8 today is here. Again, the pineapple today, figure 8. The sound is the same, but the box is an entirely different shape. The theory of instrument making my father learned. It is not the shape of the instrument which gives you the sound, it's the volume. When you go to the next size ukulele, the alto, the box is bigger. The sound sticks around longer. But you must tune it, the ukulele tuning, which is the dogwood flute. So the soprano, the alto of the box is bigger, the sound sticks around longer, but same sound, different side. Go to the tenor, which is the bigger side, you would tune this way, and the sound is same sound, different size of volume. Gives you the same sound. Okay, that's the theory of instrument making. It's not the shape of the instrument, but the volume involved, which gives you the sound that you need for each instrument. Now, 1930, there was a big depression. Gibson, Martin, Harmony was making ukuleles. They made guitars first. About the time my father started his business, Gibson, Martin, and Harmony had been making guitars, mass-producing guitars, making a lot of money. They weren't interested in this ukulele when this ukulele was first made and brought to America at the turn of the century. But because people got interested in the instrument, Hawaiian musicians brought this instrument and played, people wanted it. So eventually, by 1916, Martin and Company made their first ukulele. But they knew how to mass-produce the instrument, and in no time they were flooding the market with ukuleles because they knew how to mass-produce. So people who went to college in the teens, 20s, and 30s, to be in style, two things you had to have to be accepted. You don't want in the crowd. You had to have, number one, wearing a coonskin coat. Number two, you had to have this little thing in your hand. If you didn't have a coonskin coat and ukulele, forget about going to Yale, Harvard. prestigious colleges, you weren't accepted. It was style. Everybody did the same thing. Remember 10 years ago, everybody going to college wore jeans? But the jeans had to be shredded after and you had patches on the behind. And to be in style. Everybody does the same thing.